Is that pointing right at me, Tiffany? Get it off.
We're kind of around John. Yeah, right.
I think that was supposed to be in, but this was in conversation.
All right, good morning, everyone. This is the board workshop, Monday, May 16th for Wildewood Condominium Association. We are testing the sound system with microphones and the feed going in and out for Zoom to make sure that the Zoom folks can hear us. Please let us know. We should be able to hear you through the speakers when you speak as well. So we'll call the meeting to order. Confirm proper notice, John?
Notice posted, yes, according to statutory requirements last week.
For the workshop, do we need the roll call? No. We have a quorum of 11 now? 12? 12, okay. So when we get to the meeting on Monday the 16th, we will start out with all those formalities and have the president's comments. Steve will be back for that meeting. He corresponded with me yesterday and he should arrive back here on Saturday or Sunday, so he'll be here for Monday's meeting. We'll be able to review the minutes of the April 18th board meeting. We'll have the treasurer's report. We'll see accounts receivable and John's report on units with legal issues.
I can do a little update now if you're interested in the legal issues.
Go right ahead.
As you know, we have 2 units in the foreclosure where actually one bank, the 360 floor, the bank has taken over. We've reached out to those principals who are involved, and our attorney is...
But I can't hear Roger.
I don't hear John Haggerty.
Boom, 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 boom.
Try now.
All right. Ooh, that's loud.
We can hear each other on Zoom, but we can't hear you, John.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Doesn't sound like
Say
it.
it again.
Still testing.
Can you hear Roger?
Turn your mic.
Are they not hearing anything now? You're not hearing anything now, guys?
They were before.
Yeah.
Maybe Roger has to turn his mic off.
I had it off when John was speaking.
Let's blame Barbara if she wasn't on.
No sound.
It's Barbara's fault.
Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you, but you cannot hear us?
Can you hear the Zoom people?
Nod your head, Chris. They can't hear you apparently.
Yeah.
You can't hear us at all? 'Cause you guys were hearing us before we started. Now you're saying you can't hear us?
Yeah, they don't seem to be.
Chris, do you need this?
No, actually, we're running everything through the soundboard.
Yeah, why is that?
George, can you hear us? No? I don't know what we're doing different.
I don't either, because it was. Before we started, it was working.
Not really connected.
You turned the camera on, that looks good.
Yeah, we got the camera going now into the computer, Chris. Is that making a difference? Because is there a microphone in the camera?
Yeah, no, we seem to be,
It was
that
fine
seems to be
till we...
better now. Can you hear us now, Barbara?
Barbara, do you hear anything at all? Barbara, can you hear us?
She's not,
No? It seemed to work
no.
until you hooked up the camera, Chris.
No, it was.
Can you hear me through the camera?
Did you?
Chris, if you hear us, we don't hear you at all. I don't hear you, Chris.
Okay, but you could hear John and Roger?
Can you hear anybody?
No.
No.
Okay, let's.
Can we disconnect the camera and see what happens?
Yes, I can hear you.
Actually,
We can all hear each other.
now George is coming through, right?
Yes, they're coming through. They can't hear us.
Not connected to the office.
We can hear all of them, yeah.
Well, we
Yes.
have video, just don't have their sound.
Right.
So if we take out the camera, if we take the camera out of the loop, let's just see if we get them back. Can you hear us now? Do you hear anything now?
I got my video working right, so yay!
What?
Oh, you unplugged this one.
Yeah, so they're speaking
Looks
now
like you're in
through
Florida
here.
or something.
Yeah, but that didn't, I'm saying, I'm thinking when you hooked up the camera, this stuff disconnected. So
Yeah.
put that back in and take the camera out.
Oh, I did the wrong one.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
All right, what about now? Can anybody hear us? Can you hear anything out there on Zoom? Why did it work before?
They're not saying they are. Yeah, I'm not sure why. We're not, I think our best bet right now is to disconnect it and just go with the computer.
All right, for in this room, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we don't talk on the microphone now?
Right, we won't need to.
Could it be that both of our microphones are on at the same time,
I
right?
had mine off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you hear us now?
Talk again, Chris.
Can you hear us now, George?
Yes, now you're back.
Yes. Okay, you're back.
Okay, well, we're still working, trying to get this worked out right. Leslie, would you say something and see if they could hear you?
Certainly. What would you like me to say?
Anything.
Anything.
Can you hear Leslie?
We can hear Leslie.
Okay.
Excellent. What could be better?
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna proceed.
All right. So
I'll go
John's
again.
going to talk about legal issues.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. We're talking about the legal issues updates. 364 has been taken over by the bank. We've reached out to them. They acknowledge, the good news is, I think we reported last time that the bank did not include us in the suit, which is a requirement for them for the Safe Harbor Act, which means they would have been only allowed to receive 1 year of maintenance fees. They did not do that, and so we are fortunate to be able to recover, if and when we collect, 100% of what was owed, which will be $2,000 to $3,000 more than we anticipate getting. The company that is in charge of the sale of that unit has acknowledged and received a payoff letter from our attorney, and we're looking forward to receive a check. 762, which we were which we've had under foreclosure. The owners have sent us a check for $12,000 to protect their interest. They owe us $15,600, but and by May 20th they have to pay the results, otherwise we take possession. As you remember, there was no mortgage on that one, and so we were going to really be amazed if we were going to get it. But the bottom line is they're beginning to pay their debt, and we're ahead on both issues.
Okay, that's really good. Positive move on their part.
I know this isn't part of the financial thing, but if and when they get all of their payments paid and supposedly are free and clear with the board, is there going to be any timeline in regards to doing something with that place, or do we have to wait for them to make that decision?
We have no responsibility over the inside of it, and it's in good shape. It's been mold remediated, so there's nothing we can do. I mean, if they don't put furniture in it or put not wall boards, but baseboards back, that's their responsibility.
All right, good.
As long as they pay their maintenance fees.
I was just worried about getting more mold and
Yeah,
stuff.
no, that's all been remediated.
We lost it again, Chris. We lost it again.
Okay.
No sound.
I think that was me. When I muted, that was it. That's what happened. Sorry.
Okay.
So now you can hear us again?
Yes.
Okay.
John, this means if they pay off the debt, that they just continue to.
Yes.
Did you hear all of those updates, you guys on Zoom?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
I have a question. How is the lien rescinded? I mean,
when
Does it
all
just go
cash is
away?
given to the attorney, the attorney satisfies the lien with the court.
Oh, okay.
Does that cost us?
No, it costs the owner, because every action they have to pay off. In other words, the $9,000 that they paid, or part of the $12,000, $9,000 was the repairs and the mold remediation. We've been reimbursed for that. Other $3,000 is from, some of it's from interest and attorney's fees and back maintenance fees, but they still owe, like I said, close to $4,400, which is almost a year's maintenance fee.
And they have by May 26th?
But I think it's May 20th,
20th.
but it's very soon.
And if that doesn't, if they don't meet that deadline?
Then the foreclosure goes to the judge for handling.
Okay.
But I you know, if they've already kicked in 12,000, I'd be surprised we don't see the rest.
Yeah, they're trying to protect their interest. It seems like they don't want to lose it.
Yeah.
There's more of an investment there than the 15,000 they owed. Okay, the next thing we would move on to would be old business. We would start with an update on the slab renovation, second floor.
Again, I have good news. We have changed the process. We're not putting down the upper, for the want of a better word, covering. So now we're going from underneath, fixing anything that needs to be done, be it rotted wood, be it rusted buckets, be it anything, and putting new scuppers in, because they're all damaged, and reducing the floor to bare concrete, and we're putting on a thick paint. Our cost was averaging about $49,050.
49,000?
I'm sorry, $4,050 per unit. Anywhere from 4,900 to 5,100. The new process is costing us anywhere from 1,900 to 2,100.
Oh, wow.
And so we're hoping to get double the amount done this year. We've just gotten 5 done in the last month. It goes very quickly, so we're excited about the new process.
I think we need to thank Tiffany because she allowed us to practice on her place.
Thank you.
Way to go, Tiffany.
Thank you.
Way to go, John.
Yes, way to go, building committee. We appreciate you.
Okay, thank you, John. Yes.
I know this is old business because we've talked about it before. But I've heard or seen quite a bit of correspondence from Cookie and from Tiffany and several others in regards to our ongoing process with our city council and so on, and the transient situation. I'd like to put it on the agenda that we have a report, a formal report of where we are on that at our meeting on Monday. I think it's great that we've gotten all the emails that we've had, but there's others that might want to see those that may not get them. And I think there's been some further development since we saw the last one. So great job, by the way, to both of you and Cookie. And there's somebody else in there too. I don't remember, but
Gina,
Gene Smith.
yes,
Smith.
great.
I will put under F, under old business, something to go out for that report. Unfortunately, I was there yesterday,
Yeah.
and they're back.
Oh, yeah, I saw
I was
this
just gonna
morning,
say,
a
I
lot of
walked the dog
garbage.
back there and I thought I saw.
Yeah.
But not as, I mean, what happened was the code enforcement did a heck of a good job, okay? And they came in and cleared it. That was whisper clean up there, up until yesterday. So there had been about 15 days without them anything activity at all. When I went up there yesterday afternoon, there was a large Publix bag and some debris. I couldn't find anybody there. I intend to go on a daily basis to see what we can do. If it's confined to that one grocery cart, our boys will go pick it up. I really hate to even have our guys handle the stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
I went by there about maybe Friday of last week, and there was somebody down there running people out. So
They're very active on it.
I mean, there's somebody from either the police department or somebody was sending them out, it was about 6 o'clock at night or something like that. And they were setting up camp and they were moving them out of there.
We should be thankful to everybody's efforts, especially those in contacting of the county commissioner.
Yeah.
But it did seem like, once we discovered fires being set, I called the fire department there, the fire department called their buddies in code enforcement, and things really got done.
Well, with all the brush fires that got going
Yeah,
on.
well, it was nasty. I mean, it was all underground, and it was smoke underneath all of the debris, not the debris, but underneath the dry lamps, so it was gonna go flash.
Underbrush.
Yeah.
Leslie?
I don't know if it was reported, but one of our neighbors in Springdale, who lives right opposite the pool, heard a disturbance at 2:45 and looked out and saw two people in full clothing in our pool. And they
When?
had Saturday night, 2:45 a.m.
Sunday morning.
So Sunday
Did they
morning.
call anybody?
No,
I
because
wrote to Maggie about that.
You,
Edward Dunn saw them out there, heard them out there, and reported it to me. I reported it to Maggie, and they were supposed to report that to you as well. Nothing.
wow.
What about security? Why
What
didn't
is-
anybody
Because
call
they were
security?
That was
gone
my
by the
question,
time.
too.
No,
It doesn't matter.
well,
No, see, what happens is, if they call security, it is rendered, we get a very
you
detailed
get a
report, and it would be formal. I don't doubt what Mr. Dunn saw, it's just, okay. When did you let Maggie know, Monday or Tuesday? Right, that was yesterday.
No, I wrote to her on Sunday.
Okay. Please,
Just so
You knew that
manager@wildewoodSprings.com, and then copy anybody else. The only way I can assuredly get it, I mean, I'm sure she doesn't keep most things from me, but please send it to me with a copy to the other people.
Should we send security a report?
Yes, I'll handle that now.
Okay.
I'll handle that now.
But in the meantime, we need to report it to security. We're paying them for a reason.
Right.
Yep.
And so we need to use them. And they're pretty good
oh, I know.
when they get called. So,
And if they're not on property, they'll come.
yes.
But it was.
And they will contact the sheriff
Oh,
to
yeah,
join them in a search
Yeah.
if that's necessary.
yeah.
And
So that
then
was
all
Saturday
of
night,
that.
Sunday morning.
Sunday morning.
They
I will
left-
report that to
They left
Edward.
the pool area on bikes and.
I'll take
they
care
were
of the
out
report, okay? Thank you. But just, please, I check emails 7 days a week, okay? So, that way I can follow through. I'll find out why I didn't get it though, trust me.
Anything else on the homeless issue? Okay. Next
I
item,
just want to say,
go ahead, Barb.
yeah, on the first page of the newsletter is the phone number for security, if anybody's looking for it.
Should have it on our refrigerators too.
We do.
We have magnets, yeah.
We had magnets.
Yeah, more magnets. There are more new people here, right?
Some of the refrigerators don't hold them anymore.
That's
Right.
true.
Yes,
I have a new stainless steel one and it won't hold a magnet.
Solid gold one won't.
The next item on the agenda is to discuss the proposed operations manual that was sent out over the weekend. I've received significant feedback, and I'm going to pull that item from the agenda, John. It's going to go
Okay.
back to the committee. I've got several emails of inconsistencies or errors, and
Okay.
needs to be cleaned up before it goes to the board.
Can I ask you how that was that distributed through email?
Yes,
Okay, then there's something wrong, because I didn't get that either.
I sent it out on Sunday.
I know, I
And I
haven't
only
gotten,
got
I haven't
that
gotten
one
John's
printed.
emails,
Okay.
I haven't gotten, so,
Yep.
I don't know what's going
It
on.
went out
Possibly, yeah.
by email on Sunday.
I'll send you a test when I get back.
Okay.
That's from Tammy.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
Roger,
Yes.
where should we send feedback to? I had some comments too after reviewing it.
Either to me or to Claire. And then
Okay.
we'll get the committee back together. Yep.
And the committee will comply with the sunshine laws and post the committee meeting, correct?
Oh, all right. We'll have Claire post the meeting if we're gonna, when we have a
I'll
meeting.
take care of it, let me know, and
Oh,
I'll take care
okay.
of the.
John will
posting for
post the meeting for that.
Okay,
So it won't come up, it'll be off the agenda for this meeting.
Oh, it's not gonna be on this week?
No.
Thank you.
We'll scratch it.
I think that's smart.
Okay, letter C on the agenda, under old business, is to discuss the funding of the insurance. I know everybody received a letter from the association detailing what those assessments were going to be by the square footage. It's been posted at the mailboxes, and I do believe that it will come up for a vote at the meeting on Monday. Any further information on it, John?
Just a quick note, again, slightly positive. When I did the formula for the collection and everything of that nature, I had to guess at what the premium was going to be to fulfill this year's policy, because we had been charged for the increased valuation between the 78 million and the 92.
Right.
I put in 61,000, it came in at 58. So we'll have a little bit of extra for the funds, and that will actually take. We had a slip and fall case in 2019 that just got resolved, and we have a $5,000 deductible on that policy. So I just had to pay $3,100 on the slip and fall, so that took care of the money we just got. So it all works out, it's balancing out.
Easy come, easy go.
But we still think the information that was sent in the letters will be the amount.
Well, that'll be up to the board, but if you follow those calculations, that's what you should do, to have everything you need for this payment and last payment, and bringing your operation surplus up over $80,000, which is currently very low now.
Right. Yes, Blessing?
How about giving people who pay it off in full a slight break? Just saying.
It was brought up in it.
Yeah.
That's against the law, sorry. Statute prohibited. Oh, by the way, we have, I think, 21 checks already, and you haven't done it.
All right.
All in full.
All in full.
Oh, we can pay it now?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
But you gotta check, you gotta date your check on June 1st, because we already did it.
And you gotta have money in the bank, Pam.
Oh!
Done.
Money is why we did it.
I wasn't aware of that.
No wonder they've been coming for you. All I thought we needed was a phone.
Yeah, really. And I borrowed yours.
As long as we're talking insurance now, other than payments, I was going to bring this up later, but our agent came out as promised with a risk advisor, and we walked the property. Well, we actually rode the whole property, and came out very, very well on his assessment of our risks. Primarily, we'll have to go over the pool end, because they feel that little lip between the path and the pavers is an issue, and we'll probably have to raise it up. That's the biggest issue. That and some storage of chemicals were the only two things that they found of any issue. So it really, really worked out well. It was a good report.
Good.
Great. That's good. They can't find anything else wrong.
I have a question.
Yes.
Seeing as we were one of the 21 that prepaid, if this comes to a vote and gets voted down, what does that happen? I mean, it can't be, right?
We're going to keep your check. You just...
Thank you for your donation.
Yes. And we'll need another check. You're getting a tax deduction.
The early bird.
If this gets voted down, you will get your check back.
Well, we're voting on it, so don't vote no.
Right. Oh, I didn't realize we had a vote.
You have some control over the issue by your future voting.
All right, the next item that we'll be discussing will be the association audit for 2021. You want to make a comment now, John?
Yeah, it's finished and on here, and those who want it, we'll be making copies after Monday. They can come in the office and pick it up. The state no longer requires the audit to be sent to everybody for expense reasons, but anybody that wants it is welcome to it. Came in very good. It was reviewed by, I think, the treasurer and the president, and before it was made public. And so it's all in good shape.
Right. Always good to get a good audit.
Yeah, it would be great to have it on the website.
Yeah, and then we'll have the electronic, he'll have that for us. Yeah.
Okay. Next item that's going to be discussed will be the upper unit flooring issues. That must be for the testing of that unit where the flooring was installed?
Yeah, the testing went very well, and I'll have the specifications and the report for the board to adopt that, I guess, as the standard. From what my feeling is, and I know that Chris was there.
I couldn't make it.
Oh, you couldn't make it out.
No,
Who
I
else?
was gone.
Claire was there.
Claire was there.
Yeah.
Was
And
every,
Colin Smith.
was everybody who was there, could they hear? Or are they deaf or? I'm telling you why, because Bill doesn't hear upstairs, I do. I know.
Well, I thought it went well, and the people that are that lived there, that we were in their unit, they had heard no issues.
I think the best thing said, is, would not be repetitive, is they said they didn't hear any new issues from when she had the carpet up there.
Okay,
So that was good. There are gonna be sound migrations, there's no question about that.
right.
I mean, when we took the golf ball and went boom, you heard that pretty good, but you'd hear that with anything, you know.
Right.
But what the company, the Georgia Carpet, contended is that this particular material has the same sound deadening or better than carpeting, which by industry standards gets it to about what they call 58. We have 72 in our STC rating of sound transmission in our documents, but it's impossible for us to get to 72 because that's a 6-inch slab which they go on. We only have a 2-inch slab, so there's never going to be, you're never going to get it above to where it is now.
Okay.
So what we have is we have 2 inches of concrete and 2 inches of metal instead of the standard is 6. Now everything built today is 10 inches.
Wow.
John, that poses a question that I wouldn't be concerned about, but someone might. If our documents say 72 and we're not going to get there, is there any chance that down the road somebody's going to say we're infringing and we have to drop that from 72 to 55? I mean, I don't know that.
Well, we may want to consider amending that portion of the documents in the future to alleviate that situation and take advice from the attorney. Maybe there shouldn't be a number in there, but it should be something else of the materials kind. A lot of times they try to get rid of specific numbers anymore. But you know, we could put and I have the I have the material. Maybe the material has to go in there or something like that.
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
Now this material, is that generically available or is it just through Georgia Carpet?
Oh no, well, I don't know that, but
I mean, are we given
this is
Georgia
the material.
Carpet
That's a good question, but all we know is that this particular material was utilized as the
underlayment?
As the underlayment. Now, I'm going to get the final word from Doug, who's the guy over there. I believe they put a visqueen barrier down and this, and they had specific material on top. And so that's going to have to be the board's decision what we want to include in this. Right. But if we want the test to be similar elsewhere, we're going to almost have to have this. Right. We're going to have to be very specific on what we're going to agree to have installed.
If I might,
Go ahead.
I'm pretty sure that one of our neighbors who installed this type of flooring that was approved didn't use Georgia Carpet World. I think they used one of the other providers. And the experience that they've had with the people, and there's been 2 owners underneath them, and both of those owners said they did not hear sound. There was no problem with it. So that's a very similar flooring. It's called a deluxe vinyl, and it has a sound underlayment that is supposed to be a sound deadening.
Do we have any kind of SOP on this thing? I mean, if I decided to do that, do I need to have a signature from the office to do it and then have somebody come back and inspect to make sure that we have done it?
I think that we have to have a specific set of circumstances or specifications to make this thing work for everybody. And what does that mean? that means that maybe we'll approve what went in, subject to further specifications by the building committee to recommend, so it may be a month delay. I only know of one person, or two people right now, that are waiting to hear what we're doing. And this is, by the way, is the flooring that turned out. It was installed in Miss Gillen's unit.
It looks to me like we had a good test there. It's a whole
Big area.
square area there, for sure. I'm just concerned, as we've had before, there's a multitude of modifications that generally take place as when we open the door, we may have 6, 8 people wanting to do it, and well, I'll use this one here, nobody will know the difference.
Well, that's why I want to make sure we do it in the right manner. You can approve the testing with a, some sort of additional date required till specifications can be developed. But I would agree.
Tammy?
I like what Dick said about we need to look at our policy pertaining to completely, so that we don't have backlash later.
But I agree, I think that John will carry this, I'm sure, at some point, but certainly down the road, somebody's gonna say, you did not follow your own specifications or your own rules, and so, I'm sure with your background, you'd probably substantiate something like that, and then we would not be, we could get in trouble. So down the road, it's something we might.
We had an issue a couple years ago with, what was it, when someone said that they couldn't get a mortgage because we had something in our rules that didn't apply to their mortgage. What was that?
What that was, a VA loan. The VA and FHA loans are unavailable for this community because of our leasing restrictions.
Right.
And so, there it is. And you have the right, you have very good leasing restrictions here. And so I wouldn't mess with those. Not that you would, not that you're saying that.
No, but it's a backlash later on.
Yeah.
For them to challenge it.
Right.
Yeah.
So that would be something good to look at down the road,
really,
to make an amendment.
We really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
What are we actually gonna be voting on, or are we gonna be voting on?
Well, let's see. I mean, I'll come up with some things, and I'll find out first of all, if it's available from more than one source. That'll be important. And how you want to set the specifications, you may wish to table it for another 30 days before you approve it. That may be what you want to do.
And maybe the building committee needs to review and
Yeah.
come back with a recommendation.
And
Say,
we're having
here's how it should go.
And we're having a building committee meeting the day after the board meeting, so there's a good chance that it could get dealt with right away.
And then we vote on specifics rather
Exactly.
than general.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Anything more on that topic? Okay. So then we will move into new business, and John, I'm sure, has some communications.
There'll be some communication that'll be attached to the report, letters written to a couple of people regarding some rule violations.
Okay. And
May I ask a question in regards to letters and to people? Have we any further reports on our meeting that we had in regards to the individual moving in, et cetera, and in, I think it's Moran or something like that?
Oh, yeah. Do we have, Chris, anybody but board members on the...
Right now?
Yeah.
We have a phone, we have somebody on the phone, and I'm not sure who they are. The person on the phone, 4604, could you identify yourself?
Sure, I'm Jan Rabin, 758.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'm going to preface what I'm saying, as we have two owners, yourself, Chris, three owners. This is a private unit owner issue, as you know, and it's not for public consumption, okay? And, Jan, you hear that?
Got it.
Okay, thank you very much. The agreement was proposed and sent to the, all board members. I got some feedback. We gave that to the attorney. She sent the modified report or agreement. We did the background check. The background check came back, whether it was cleansed or whatever.
Expunged.
The felonies, there were no felonies, to put it shortly, okay? And so the agreement was produced by the attorney. We asked, should the, because it didn't require Taylor's signature, we thought that it should, meaning Steve and I, when we reviewed it. The attorney said absolutely not. The attorney said the responsibility is with Richard, and he's the owner. And so he came in and signed it. We charged him $250 for background check. Cost us $35.
Well, we had attorney's fees.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but we had attorney fees to do it, that's right. So it's covered. So bottom line is, she's in. There had been an issue in the beginning about her car being in the carport. The owner, and there was some complaint. The owner called me very upset, saying no, she had given them the right to park there. And so there's no issues, there's been no issues since she's come in.
Good.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. The owner said that they.
Miss Chestnut or whatever, what's her name?
Okay, that's not who I was talking about. It was Dawn and Dick.
I don't know who Dawn and Dick is.
They own, well, their carport is the first carport space, and they live.
Well, that's where Richard parks all the time. In the first carport space.
No.
Yeah, I see it when I go.
Well, then you're gonna have to meet me over there because I've got
Okay,
their keys.
well, maybe we got the first, maybe we got a different first place. Anyway.
Oh, I'm talking about the first place towards the back of the.
Yeah, oh, I'm talking about the first place to
Okay,
the front.
okay. But Taylor's car was parked in that first one at the back.
Okay, and what's their last name?
It's Don Allen McPherson.
Yeah, that's who called me.
Yeah.
And said that they had the right to park there for one night because they were getting appliances in the morning.
But Dick was the one who complained.
Well, Don, that's strange. Anyway, and the incident is resolved. I had Richard in the office. There's going to be no confusion about parking. And so far, everything's been quiet.
I wish they would have called me back.
Yeah. So they're in.
Okay, I have a question.
She's in.
There was some talk that apparently she'd been living there for 3 weeks before he even approached us.
She had.
That I didn't know. I approached Richard on that after I heard about it. And he said, well, he was under the impression from me that the board was going to approve it. And I said, bull caca. But, yeah.
I'm very pleased that she did not sign the agreement. This is the owner's problem, not ours. And I don't want to have to go after her because she signed the agreement. We go after him and he can get rid of her if there's a problem.
Yeah.
So,
And he, when I approached him initially, when she had that confirmed quote-unquote felony by Richard's mouth alone, I gave him a letter and she was out. So he knows.
All right, good.
Thank you, John. Leslie?
May I just say, I think this is another issue, like the one Dick brought up, that we should maybe look at the language of our rules about felony convictions, because there are felony convictions that we do want to exclude, violent crimes or
How about rape or pedophile or
pedophilia.
Well, I think armed robbery. I think
right,
pretty much everything, Leslie.
Well, there are many other felonies that are none of them.
But we're older. We're an older community, and older people do not feel safe if they know that a convicted felon is living near them.
Of any kind of
Of
felony?
any kind. All they have to see is convicted felon.
Well, that's why I think it's too broad. It should be first.
I think that I've heard this a couple of times on other spots. I'm kind of wavering back and forth, more so to your side. But maybe that's something we should have a committee that discusses, because there's good points on both sides, and I don't want to have to deal with this as we had to deal with the situation we had here earlier individually. And I'd sure like to, if there is a debate, let's have the debate and have a vote that says no way in hell is it gonna happen, or yes, we will.
But we just a few years changed it
Frankly, we don't
to
have to.
include
It's in the rules and regulations. We did it then.
in the document.
The document,
We did
the
it.
amendment that's in the document was written specifically for us and the residential nature of this community by our attorney.
I'm with you now. I understand it. Okay, I got a little liberal there.
Liberal Leslie, huh?
Okay, all right.
You and I can discuss.
Okay, the next item on the list would be unit owner requests. I think John wants to talk about a couple of those today.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I'm beginning to, Miss Gleason. I bring this up not to cause controversy, but because owners have asked me to bring this up to you. And I just got these yesterday afternoon, so I'm unable to give you any, then I haven't had a chance to research it yet, but I will. You may or may not want to put it on the document, on the agenda. Ms. Gleason contends that she does not have a carport and therefore should not have to pay the insurance costs of the carport.
Do it again.
Didn't we just go through this a few months
One
ago?
for all.
Yeah, we're different, all right? But what she is quoting Article X, Article X is insurance documents. And it's 4.5 pages, and I started to read it, but with everything coming this morning, we didn't get there. But she contends it says insurance. All right, X appears to say that items that are not available for use by all owners must be insured by the individual owner. I haven't found that specific sentence in the documents. If that's the case, we may want to at least contact our attorney. Okay?
Well, let me expand on that. Can I expand on that? That means that if I have a courtyard wall and it serves me, not everybody else, and there's any insurance costs on that wall, those of us that, in other words, that thing really can pyramid into something really.
But that's unfortunately not a very good analogy, and the reason not to be critical.
No, that's okay, yeah.
The documents in another place say that the association is responsible to maintain common and limited common elements and pay for that expense. So, and carports are limited common elements,
Just like a front
pertinent to
patio.
unit, just like a front patio. So there may be, this may not be in there, or that may be an interpretation, or it may be cross-references that we may have to look at. But right now, I don't see anything anywhere that would start with, unless you amended your documents. And so this may or may not even want to go on this particular agenda.
I think that should be in a committee.
Well, you can put it on the agenda and put it in the committee, or you can do nothing as you did with trucks and other things.
Good point.
I mean, you may not want to open that box yet.
Some of bad.
That would refer to tennis courts too.
What the hell's wrong with
No.
Tammy, you want to say something?
Is my carport on the 80 acres that we own? Yes. Is the wall on 80 acres that the association owns? The association pays for everything as a whole. Each one of us pay a portion. That's why we live in a condo association. If she doesn't want to pay for the carports, then she needs to move to a private home where she only pays for hers. We've discussed this in other meetings, and just like any other thing that we just keep rolling over and over and over, it's all for one and one for all in the association. Sorry.
I think that what you say there says, and what John just said, we've already covered this.
We've
so
covered this.
therefore, I'm sorry that you're not happy, but
Yeah.
It's a non-issue.
the rule of the game, that's
Yeah.
a non-issue.
If there's no action and this particular owner wishes to go further, they've got legal redress.
Exactly.
Good, then they
So
pay
it doesn't
for
have
And
to
they
go
can
on the
pay for
agenda.
it.
That's why we have these meetings.
Right.
To determine whether we want it on the
Yeah.
agenda.
I'm glad we talked through it, but I think that's it.
Do we take
Don,
these
can I ask a
individually?
question?
Barbara, go ahead.
Yes, was that Article X, I probably didn't hear the whole thing, was that referring to our new insurance document?
Now, Article X is referring to the declaration of condominium.
Oh, our document, okay.
Yes, sorry I didn't hear that.
Okay, thank you.
Do we want?
I will continue to answer her,
Yeah,
because I do
research it.
everybody, no matter what, you know.
So do we wait till you tell us about the second one, or do we act on this one now to determine, do we want this on the agenda?
Right now, you're setting the agenda.
Okay, so
So
do
you
we
can make a
want
decision.
this discussion to take place at the board meeting?
No, I make a
No.
motion.
Can you factor out the insurance that relates to the carports? I mean, can that even be done?
Yes, it can, because the pages of the values, each building has a value, each carport has a value. It would be very interesting to have to worry about it, but we could be done. I mean,
I thought we
we
had
know
this
what it
discussion.
costs.
I don't wanna
Didn't
put
we
it on
visit,
the agenda.
didn't we visit all this already, previously?
Ad
We
nauseam.
have before, yes. So
Well, it
let me,
wasn't on insurance before, it was on expenses and repairs.
so let me ask, anybody in this room, do we want this on the agenda for this coming meeting?
No.
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 Anybody on Zoom want this on the agenda for this meeting?
No.
No.
Okay, then this will not be on the agenda. Okay, number 2.
Number 2. There have been a difference of opinion in cluster H as far as vehicle directions.
Okay.
And well, Leslie is here, and Leslie felt that the directions weren't being followed. The arrow directions weren't being followed. We talked to other people in the cluster, Richard and other people, who said that for 8 to 10 years, everybody on the left side has not really followed the direction of the arrow and just pulled in for convenience sake, and it'd be very inconvenient to have to go all the way around. So as a trial, painted the arrows off. Leslie would like the arrows put back on. It's, and I say, the owners historically have a right to make the change. So the question is, number 1, do you want to direct a vote of the owners of H to have the arrows or not have the arrows? And in the meantime, do the arrows have to be put back on for the short period of time it takes us to take a vote? It's an internal thing within H. It seems to be an issue.
I think they need to vote. They live there, we
Yeah.
don't.
Right.
And I think because they've been there for 10 years, we have to put them back until the vote.
Well, then we'd have to get rid of them if they vote no.
That's true, but in the meantime, we've covered them up.
So if the board-
Indiscriminately.
We'll put it up. We'll paint them until the vote, so you're directing a vote for, all right, leave that on there for a directed vote.
I would, Leslie
I'd like to
Dick both want to
just-
make a comment.
Being a part of that, I'd like to add to it, and maybe Leslie will too. I agree, you're gonna put them back on again, however, there never was a vote in H to put those on in the first place. Because, one of the units, I think for sure was having issues, those arrows were decided by those units to put it in. That just grandfathered into all of the rest of us.
That's
So-
not true, though.
No,
They're not
they're
Well,
allowed
there
to
was
vote.
never any vote in the
Well,
H
they're not
cluster is what I'm saying, to
Yeah.
make that decision. Now, maybe the board made that decision, I don't know, to put them in every unit.
No.
So I don't care, I think if you're gonna put them in, that's fine and dandy, but I'm just saying that it is not consistent with what happened
Well,
originally.
you don't have arrows, do you?
No,
And I don't,
none, A, B, and C
We
do
don't
not.
have them either.
B,
C,
A does.
C. A does?
A does.
Okay, B does not.
And I don't
I don't know
think
if
C
C does or
I
not
don't
either.
remember C does.
But
I think
regardless
they
of
are.
where the arrows are, the garbage trucks cannot follow the arrows.
No.
Because they can't get to their
Or
dumpster
the
stop.
newspaper
Right,
delivery.
and the other thing is enforcement.
True.
Yeah.
You know, go out and scream
Go ahead,
at your
Leslie.
neighbor because he's going the wrong way.
Some people will.
Board members
Tammy.
go first.
Oh,
Tiffany,
Thank
sorry.
you. Thank you.
Tiffany.
I was just going to volunteer if we don't want to put the crew through the time and expense of painting all the arrows on for the vote. I have digital copies of all of the maps that I've scanned in. I can draw the arrows in if we want to like put a little image on the vote, so people can see it, you know, without having to paint it.
Well,
if you'd like,
you can't,
just an
what
idea.
happens is that when you blacked it out, the arrows are still there. I mean,
Okay.
they're just different colors. So you could say that the arrows are still there, only they're not white.
Right. True.
Can I ask, is this two lanes that go around through the cluster? Like most of the clusters here, there's two lanes that go through and around the cluster.
Yeah.
So is that how cluster H is set up, or is it only one lane that goes around through the cluster?
Cluster H had two arrows, one directing you to go right and around, and the other one directing you to leave in the same direction.
Right.
So it's a circle around the carport, Barn.
How many lanes go
Keep
around
circling.
the carport?
Well, I don't know that you can distinguish lanes. There's the concrete trough down the middle.
Right, that's why I'm wondering if it's then for theoretical purposes 2 lanes, why would you have both lanes with the arrows going in the same direction?
No, they
Wouldn't
don't.
one lane? Oh, go ahead, Leslie.
No, they don't. It really is a very narrow cluster. I think that's one of the answers. And if the arrows have been up for 8 to 10 years, well, that's almost, as we say in the legal biz, that makes them kind of permanent.
Like a
And
common law marriage?
Exactly. If you've
Common
held
law
out
arrows.
something as the rule for 8 to 10 years, it's the rule. And that's why those arrows should never have been repainted black at the request of one or more board members. But there are many residents of H who have left, and some are, at least 2 owners are Canadians, and there are probably at least 5 owners who have left already. So I would request that all of the owners be sent their ballot, certified mail return receipt requested. So it isn't a matter of people living locally that make up the decision for all 23 owners.
I have no problem doing that.
Thank you.
Shouldn't we do it? And of course, it would have been done that way anyway.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
I think we set a precedent based on parking at one time in a couple of clusters where they had to vote on whether or not they designated parking places.
Yes.
So
Right.
I do feel that'll be the way to resolve the issues.
No.
I have a question, and that again goes back to enforcement. I mean, if somebody inadvertently drives the wrong way against the arrows, are you gonna go out and give them a ticket?
I personally will be happy to do that, not that it would carry any weight whatsoever.
You'll be the only one.
Right.
No, my husband too.
Okay.
Both of us have almost been involved in car accidents.
We have arrows
Not
and so have I.
saying
Yes,
how
exactly.
or who, just pointing the finger.
I must remind you, there's only 1 vote per unit,
Correct.
even though you may have.
You know, just for the board to understand, certainly whatever happens is gonna happen. But the issue is that our unit is a corner unit. When we go around, there's no way that I can get into that unit without driving partway, backing up, driving partway, backing up, and eventually getting in. There are at least 3 areas like that. Those that are on the right-hand side of the area have to go all the way around, even though their unit, their parking is right there, like 15 feet away. And I don't fault what Leslie is saying, but I've been going down that unit for 19 years. Everybody knows that somebody does it, we drive carefully. And that's just the way it is. So whatever goes, goes, but the issue isn't just the turn, it's the difficulty. Now, Leslie had suggested to either me or to my wife, I'm not sure, and that's fine. We back in, which we could do, we could go on, but then every time we turn on our motor, all of the fumes go into the 2 units that are up back through there. So it is what it is, it'll be what it's going to be. And if it ever turns out that it's wrong, then obviously I'm gonna have to try to comply.
And
But
we'll
it doesn't
still
make
be
any.
friends.
Write your
We'll
$100
still
check
be
and be done.
I
friends.
can't do it.
We'll still be friends.
Oh, yeah, it's just I mean, if Leslie and I, it's unfortunate that this conversation between her and me are taken here rather than somewhere else. But if they were a little bit more cautious, coming around, I mean, frankly, that's what it amounts to. I come up to that corner, I stop before I go on. Jack came around, and he didn't know I was gonna be there, obviously. He just came around.
Jack's
My
a wild
attitude
man.
is that if we all cooperated and we're all more careful,
Exactly.
this would not be an issue for at least 6 people that are involved in this problem.
Well,
So
and
when the
even-
vote goes down,
even
it
for
goes down.
clusters with arrows, people
Oh,
go the wrong
happens
way,
all
and
the
I've been
time.
almost hit, I can't tell you how many times, and they go
Video
fast, and,
cameras.
yes, yes. The people who do it the most often are now back in Canada, and I would like to slap her, but I can't because she's gone.
The vote will go down, it'll be what it'll be, and I'll do what I can to try to comply, but it's just that I say there are probably 5 or 6 of us that will be inconvenienced, seriously inconvenienced, okay.
Again, it goes back to common courtesy, caution, and enforcement. Look at the people that run the stop signs in our development. What are you gonna do about that? I mean, people are out there to do what they're gonna do regardless. Hopefully they're being cautious. It's just, I mean, you gotta be courteous and be aware of that other people are using it.
Well, the full comments here, I called John, and John will verify this, and I said, you may hear from Leslie or from Jack, because this is what has occurred. Do what you have to do. I did not ask for any changes. I simply said, if I'm reported, I'm going the wrong way, send me a letter. And I will then have, and in between, because of whatever the lines were painted. So we'll have the vote, and that'll be it.
So we got the arrow cops.
I'm sorry.
So this item will go on the agenda for the meeting so that we can direct that a vote be.
The arrows will be back today.
Okay, and that the
I'm
vote
bringing
will
popcorn.
direct the vote to be, the reason it'll be on the agenda is so that we can direct the vote, right? Okay.
Who's bringing homies?
Any comments from the Zoom people on this subject?
Any comments? Yeah.
They're all asleep.
Nope, okay.
If I might make one quick comment, and that is that we have an arrow in ours, and we have a sign that says right only, right turn only. And as in cluster H, a good number of people ignore it. And that's a problem sometimes. I've almost hit somebody that was coming the wrong way. And so it does mean that we have to make sure that people are going slow.
And I think that's the biggest issue.
And I do think that it would be helpful to tell the vendors, like Amazon and UPS and FedEx, that they ought to follow the doggone sign.
Well, I agree, because one of the issues of that in Pam, your area, was that, didn't UPS almost nail you, or yeah, and we did talk to them, and we did put up a sign, I think.
Yeah, Max and I have almost been hit many times, and if I have to throw his little bag away in the garbage dumpster, and I walk out very carefully, but that person I was talking about several times has come around that corner at about 20 miles an hour and almost hit both my dog.
Wow.
Well,
And
Claire
so-
has complained the same way with the waste management. They barrel through here, and if you have a dog, it's roadkill.
Well, he's careful in our cluster because Bill gives him a
I've
tip
also
every
written
Christmas.
certified letters to the newspaper
Right.
carriers, and they won't even pick up their certified letters.
Yeah.
They're all
Oh,
returned.
she's nuts. That one that comes through, she
Yeah,
is nuts.
she really is.
Rachel, good one.
I think this should be on the agenda because we can discuss it. It's something we should all be keeping in mind, common courtesy, whatever it is, whether it's the cluster rules or what. The bottom line is that we can't just legislate an exact lane for us to be in, but we should all be looking out for each other when we drive into these common areas. It's like being in any place else, the Walmart parking lot or something like that. We have not got just a common street that is regulated by the traffic laws. This is a situation where we're driving into a parking lot where other people use it, and we should be courteous in looking out for each and everybody. Whether the arrow points one way or the other.
That's the key words right there, common courtesy. We live in an association. We need to work together.
And stuff does happen. It happens. And so we'll
An
figure out
arrow's
how to
not gonna
get through
fix
it.
it. I'm gonna tell you, an arrow is not going to fix it.
Popcorn and grills.
But leave it on the
45
agenda, we'll
arrows won't
discuss it.
fix it.
Okay.
You're right, and believe it or not, on every interview I have with new owners or new tenants, the word common courtesy comes up dozens of times, and specifically with new owners who say, you know, my first question, have you ever lived in a condo before? No. And then we get into some specifics, and the bottom line is always common courtesy, common courtesy. So you're right, that's what we do, and we try to preach it.
Some people don't have that gene.
Okay.
And we've gotten a beautiful turnover. I mean, we've had many people come in. Many people.
All right, so that will remain on the agenda. Then we're going to look at the manager's report. John will have that to us.
Yeah.
Committee reports, director's comments, owner's comments. Any further comments we need for today?
Very good, very much. We did it all. Used it up.
Yes.
Yes, Barbara.
Monica.
Monica. Was it Monica?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Did anyone besides me get new modem and router from Spectrum Bright House?
Okay, John's going to address that.
Very good point.
Yes.
We got, actually, Maureen in 546 called yesterday and said, I got new equipment, what's going on with the cable? 10 minutes later, John Humphreys walked in and said, I got new equipment, what am I supposed to do with it? And I said, what did you do with it? He said, I sent it back. He said, oh, okay. So we don't know what was going on. So Maggie got on the phone. It took her 45 minutes to get to the right person, because without notifying us, they changed all the communication, where now our office can't call the number you call for service, because we're administration, we have to call somebody else.
Oh, geez.
It took 45 minutes to find that number. Then we find out, oh yes, every owner got an email saying they're going to get new equipment.
What?
No.
I didn't get that.
No.
I didn't.
When we pressed that, they said, well, those that have old boxes got emails.
Nope.
How do you know if
I
you
got
got
a
a
new
box?
box.
Well, all I know is the 2 people or the 3 people, or did you get a notice?
No, but one of my neighbors, they did switch theirs, but I don't think they were notified ahead of time.
Okay, then we don't think so either. But they contended that those that were getting new boxes were notified. Well, John Humphrey wasn't, Maureen wasn't, and 546. And there you go. And so our concern was they're just dropping equipment off. Number one, it could be there showing people that nobody's in a unit. Number 2, owners could be charged for equipment they won't get if they're gone. So Maggie's going back, now that she's got this phone number, to get a list of, if there is such a one, of who's going to get it, so at least we can help protect the security and everything else what's going on. So it's a good question, Barbara, but
Monica.
we're not, Monica, I'm sorry, but we're not through with it yet. We don't know all the answers. Just found out yesterday.
My question is, not that, my son installed the new router and the Wi-Fi, which used to be 1 unit, now they're 2 units.
Yeah.
But now my phone is not working, it has not worked, and I was on the phone with Spectrum Bright, I made 12 calls yesterday, 12. They were all disconnected at one point in time, and I have to call from my cell phone, because my phone is not working.
Well, Monica, if your phone's not working, how do you dial out?
And I was so frustrated. I stopped calling back.
12 times, I'm just kidding. 12 times I used the phone, it didn't work.
But I'll just bring up the other issue.
Hang on. Go ahead, Barb.
So I had some issues, and they did replace out that single unit for the separate modem and router, and it ended up, and then I couldn't get Wi-Fi on my laptop. I could get it on my phones, but not on my laptop. And it turned out that the new equipment was not compatible with my Wi-Fi card in my laptop. So, I mean, you can encounter all kinds of issues. I ended up getting a Wi-Fi bypass thing to put in my laptop rather than get a new Wi-Fi card in the laptop, and that works great. So just so you know, it could be, when you're putting in this new equipment, you never know, it could be incompatible with your other technology.
Okay.
Very good points, thank you, we'll be aware, but we're gonna find out more about it today.
Good. Anything else? Okay, then we'll get together on Monday. Somebody want to say something?
Yeah, Monica.
Monica.
Go ahead.
One more thing. The reason why I have a house phone is because I get calls from Europe. So now my house phone is not working and I cannot get a hold of anybody at Bright House. Can Maggie get the number to me to where I can get Bright House to fix my home phone?
Yeah, well, it's gonna be Spectrum, don't forget, but yes, Maggie will call, she'll call you on your cell phone?
Yes, she has to call me on my cell phone, nothing else is working.
Okay, we'll take care of it, Monica.
Thank you.
Okay. So we'll get together on Monday, 2 o'clock at the church?
Yep.
We're adjourned.
Monday.
2 o'clock.
Thank you.
Church.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
There we go.
All right.